text mining process. Text mining process we are going to discuss about for the first topic today. So when I say text mining as a process, it is a very much emerging, rapidly evolving area of the research, so that we need to understand. And as the amount of the social media data or the other text data which is growing massively in the realistic world, so we know that WhatsApp, how much data it generates, FB, Twitter, Instagram, how much the data it comes into picture every minute, every moment. Okay, so the lot of documents are not very small in nature, and it's not like the messages are very small in nature, so it's very massive, I could say. So there need to be an efficient abstraction and categorization of the meaningful information from that text. So we cannot copy paste, or we cannot make an analysis on all the data what a person keeps on messaging or keeps on posting it every day from his or her account. So we need to see the relevance, what exactly the time they post, what they post, when they posted, to whom they are posting, and where in particular geographical location they are going to post it. So everything matters to us. So those things has to be very much efficiently categorized, and that categorization, how do we do it, means based upon the meaningful information which is required from that particular text. So for that thing we use the text mining. So that's why text mining, as I mentioned, it is one of the rapidly evolving area of research. So this is one of the rapidly evolving area of research. Okay, so that's why it has got a lot of importance and a lot of things like we can do it in text mining, and it is one of the important actually a research topic also, because we cannot say that everything is done, for every problem there is a solution, but still we need to find it out the efficient and effective solution or the correct solution. So the first level of analysis is in the process of text mining. The very first process of the first level of the analysis is to identify the frequent words. So this is one thing you need to understand. So very first level, the very first level of analysis is identifying the frequent words. Okay, and this creates a block of important words. So when we try to identify the frequent words, so this creates not the blog, it's a bag. Okay, so it helps us to create a bag of important words. Important words. Okay, so when I say that the text documents, the text could be a document or a message, so it can be ranked. So whatever the message I get, whatever the text I get, so it can be ranked, means I can prioritize. Ranking is nothing but I can prioritize. So how do we do this ranking or prioritize, means how they match to a particular bag of words. So whatever the challenges we are trying to do it, so the challenges with this particular approach, so we are trying to address it. So very simple example I could take, that the words may be spelled a little differently, or there might be a difficult words with the similar meanings. See, there are a lot of synonyms, but there are a lot of same pronunciation, but it may give a different meaning. Or this, how we spell, it may not be the same kind the other customer or other human being spell out. Okay, so that is the first level. So the first level of analysis is what? Identifying the frequent words. So identifying the frequent words, which helps us to create a bag of important words. So wherein we are going to prioritize or rank it. So that will help us to see that the best example I said, the pronunciation or the spelling. How do we spell? So it may be a little different or a little bit varying from one person to another person. So the second level or the next level of the process is, okay, so the next level, what we do is, we try to identify the meaningful phrases. Now here we have just identified the words. Now we are going to identify the meaningful phrases. Meaningful phrases. And these meaningful phrases we are trying to identify from the bag of words or bag of important words what we achieved in the first level. Okay, so thus the word, for example, if I say ice cream, okay, So say there is a word ice cream which has been considered as an important word, and in the first level we have put it in a bag. Okay. So after identifying it, now we are trying to say that ice is one phrase, cream as an another word, as an another phrase. So we'll act like a two different keywords. Okay. So this is one keyword, this is an another keyword. Okay, but which often goes hand in hand as a together one word. Ice cannot be one. Okay, when you go to a shop and you are interested in eating ice cream, you won't ask ice separately, cream separately. You won't say that give me a ice, give me a cream. No, you say that ice cream. So it goes together. Okay, so there are more meaningful phrases which can be framed by combining the words, whatever we got it as an important word in the bag of the words which are being frequently used and which we identified as the identifying frequent words we have been considered. So next is when I say ice cream, so meaningful when it becomes when I combine these two. So when I combine these two, so I get the word ice cream. So which is got a meaning. Okay. As a separate also there is a meaning, but it is not so relevant with respect to the context of eating or buying or feeling or craving to have that ice cream. Okay. So that we need to understand. Okay, so let us come back to this. Next, one more thing is there. So there might be some kind of a similarity in the meaningful phrases. Okay, so the other example we can give it as apple pie. Apple pie. Okay, so this is one might be a similarly meaningful phrases which can be given as an example, apple pie. So then the third level or the next higher level of the text mining process is, which is a high level of high level of topics. Now words are done, important words are done, rankings are done. After ranking, we try to split or we try to combine based upon the context, based upon the phrasing. So we're going to combine or we're going to split it and we're going to consider that with a prioritized meaningful words. So that is done it in the second stage. So the third stage or the next higher level of is the stage to do the mining process based on a topic, because multiple phrases can be combined into a topic area. So here we need to understand. So multiple, what we got it as phrases, no? So now multiple phrases can be combined. Multiple phrases can be combined into a one topic area or into the topic areas. Okay, so that's the two phrases in the above example what we have been got it as the like ice cream, the apple pie. So if I can put into a common basket these things, and that particular basket or a bucket I can call it as dessert. Correct, no? The topic is now dessert. Any doubt in this? Why we are calling this bucket as a dessert? Got it? We are done with this particular process of frequently analyzing and identifying the frequent words, and we have been put that words in a particular bag of important words. Then we have considered the second level of analysis by understanding and identifying the meaningful phrases from the words what we gathered in the first step as a frequent words in a bag of important words. Then that phrases can be combined or phrases can be split based upon the context and based upon the meaningful phrase what we are trying to use it. So I took an example of ice cream there, and I tried to combine the word ice cream as one word. Okay, so there might be even the similar meaningful words or the phrases which we can get it as apple pie also. The next highest level is about identifying or the level is of the topics. So when I say topics, it can't be a one word. So it could be always framed by the multiple phrases. So multiple phrases can be combined into a topic area, and the two phrases can be put into a one common basket like ice cream and apple pie. So that I call it as a dessert. Any doubt in this? I asked, say yes or no.
No doubts, ma'am.
I didn't get you, pardon?
No doubts, ma'am.
Oh, thank you very much. So that's why the text mining process is a semi-automated process. Okay, so text mining process is a semi-automated process. Semi-automated process, and the text data needs to be gathered. That is first thing. The text data needs to be gathered. Okay, so after gathering the data, so we need to do the structuring. That is most important. Okay, structure I say. Then after the structure only we are trying to do the mining. Then we are trying to do the mining. Okay, then the mining process come. So how many steps of the process is there in the text mining? Text mining is a semi-automated process. So there are three step process. So it is a 3-step process. 3-step process. Now there is a diagram which is going to depict the complete text mining architecture. Okay, let me see this. A minute. Okay, so let me. This is my one. This is my one for particular phase. Okay, I'm not drawing exactly the straight lines for the architecture diagram. Okay, so there are 3-step process as I mentioned. Okay, 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 this is the one. 1 minute. Yeah. So when I say the 3-step process, the first step is establishing the corpus of text. Establishing the corpus of text is the first one. Okay, so the second one is structuring phase. So that is structure using text documents. Structure using text document. Text document metrics. This is the second step, and which in short form we call it as TDM. TDM. The third one is mining process, that is mine TDM. Mine TDM for patterns. Mine TDM for the patterns. So now let us discuss these 3 steps little bit elaboratively. So this is about the architecture. I'm sorry, I'm not drawn very neatly with the scaling measurements and all. Okay, so this is our text mining architecture. Text mining architecture. So what does the first step says? Establishing the corpus of text. So what do you mean by this corpus of text? Obviously it is text, no doubt about it. But here what we are trying to do, we are trying to gather the data as I initially quoted. So first phase is gathering of the data. So this is our first step of the information, gathering the data. So after I gather the data, so that the data could be a simple message, simple text, or a document. So the document or the message may not be very clean, okay, which may not be very meaningful, so, or which may not be a perfect word with a perfect spelling. Okay, so there you need to apply a cleaning process and prepare the data for the better analysis purpose. So the text and the documents are the first gathered in the first step, and those gathered data will be put into a corpus and well organized. So well organized. So here what we do in the first step, so we try to get the data. Okay, this is our first step. So we need to try to get the data. So let us gather the data. So when we gather the data may not be very much clean or prepared or very much ready to use it. So whatever the data we get it, after gathering it, we put it in the corpus. Okay, so after that we try to organize it. We try to organize it. So when I say organized, it's a very cleaned, processed data. Cleaned, processed data. Okay, cleaned and processed data. So means to say that the data is very much ready for analysis purpose. The data is very much ready for analysis purpose. So that is the concept about the first step, functionality, and it's a very three simple steps process. The second step is structure. So as I mentioned, structure. So what do you mean by structure? So when the corpus is given here as the first step, this corpus data is being fed as an input for the second phase. So the next is corpus has to be organized. Correct? No. So the corpus data has to be analyzed, organized for a particular structure. So that is the second step or the second process in the data mining architecture. So the corpus is then analyzed for the structure. Analyzed for the structure. Analyzed for the structure. Then the resultant of this organized structured data, the result, we call it as a text document matrix. So the result is a matrix which is going to be mapped. Okay, the matrix mapping, important terms to the source document. So the matrix mapping will happen here. So there the outcome of the second step or the process is a text document matrix. So matrix mapping of important terms, important phrases to the source document will be done it in the second step or the second process of the data mining architecture. So the last step or the functionality is the third rectangular box what I showed you as mine the text document metrics for the patterns. Text document metrics for the patterns. So here the structured data is then very much properly analyzed. The structure data is properly analyzed. And this analysis will be done for the word structures. Sequencing, word structures, okay, and even the frequency, because we have learnt about this frequency in the association rule mining. Are you remembering? When I'm trying to find out the pattern, that is one item set, two item set, three item set. So we were checking for a common pattern: milk alone, milk comma bread, comma cookies, milk comma bread comma cookies comma ketchup, something like that, isn't it? So this is the three-step process of a text mining architecture. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
No. So let us continue for the next topic, because we are started with something here. You might be still having that in your mind. What is this, ma'am? Still elaborative explanation or elaborative understanding of the TDM has to be done. So TDM we are going to elaboratively understand as text document metrics. Text document metrics, which we in short form we call it as, or we try to write it as TDM. Okay, so this is actually, see, what is the heart of the computer? This is a very basic question which normally you would have learnt it 4 years back when you joined to first semester, correct? No? So what is the heart of the computer? CPU, right? CPU, right? I'm asking you,
Yes,
say
ma'am.
yes or no. Yes. So CPU is the heart of the computer. So similarly, I'm just correlating and making you to understand by giving the example of the computer. So that is heart of the structuring process. So what is heart of the structuring process? Your TDM. Okay, the text document matrix is the heart of your structuring process. Structuring process. That is our second phase, what we have just gone through here. So TDM is the heart of the structuring process, or the second step in the mining architecture. So free flowing text can be transformed into a numeric data in a TDM. So please understand, I repeat, free flowing text or whatever the text we get it. So it can be very much transformed into the numeric data in this text document matrix. And this text document matrix can be further used for mining, or it can be further mined using the regular data mining techniques. So once the TDM is generated or prepared, it is ready for mining. So it can be mined, okay, or it can be used by any data mining technique wherein we can do the mining to be achieved. Okay, so the TDM is acts like a heart of the structuring process, or the second step as I mentioned. Then, so there are several efficient techniques for identifying the key terms from the text. Okay, there are a lot of techniques available. Okay, which can be used for ourselves to identify the key terms from a text. And there are less efficient techniques also. So very high efficient techniques are there, very less efficient techniques are also available in the market for creating the topics out of the text what we get it. So for the purpose of our discussion and our understanding, so one could call all these as keywords, phrases, topics, as the terms of the interest. Even you can name it whatever you feel like giving, but here as I said, okay, the word, phrases, the frequent word, bag, basket, bucket, okay, topic, like that. But based upon the interest or the choice of the interest or the term of the interest, so we can call them as whatever we feel like based upon the data what we are trying to work it with. Okay, so this approach measures the frequency of the select important terms which are occurring in the document. So this creates a particular dimension of the matrix, because as I say matrix, it should have some dimension, isn't it? So when I say 2 by 2 matrix, 2 is the number of rows and 2 is the number of columns. So similarly, even your text document matrix can be created by a dimension called as T cross D. T cross D. So this creates a T cross D terms of TDM. Okay, the T cross D term, okay, by the text document matrix TDM. Okay, then you may get the question, ma'am, what is this T? It can't be a row, right? Yes, it can't be a row because we are talking about the text. Okay, so T is the number of terms. T is the number of terms. T is the number of terms. D is the number of documents. D is the number of documents. Number of documents. Okay. So this is being given by the picture. This is being given by the diagram or a table. So wherein we can understand very elaboratively about this concept of TDM or text to document matrix. So let us learn about creating the TDM requires for making the choices, which in terms it could include the choice can be reflecting the stated purpose of the text mining exercise. So here is one of the list, which probably I'll show you directly here. Give me a minute time. I'll just open. Okay, because we need the table. We are doing text mining. Yes, this is the thing. Let me close this. Are you able to see the term, the document matrix, TDM?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the term document matrix which can be created. Okay, so we are going to create a term document matrix which requires by making the choices of which terms to be created, terms to be added. Okay, see, text document matrix is one, the term document matrix is one. So this is based on the terms. So the document per term. Okay, then here we can see that the terms are being chosen or chosen which should be reflecting the stated purpose of the text mining process. Text mining process as an exercise. Okay, so the list of the terms should be extensive as and when it is required, and it should not be including some kind of unnecessary information or unnecessary data or stuff like that. So which will serve a lot of confusion when we do the analysis, and it may slow down even the computation process also. So for that reason, we take the important considerations to be done. So we cannot make everything to be put in our document, okay, the term document matrix. So this is the table which is depicting the term document matrix. So here are some of the considerations we need to make it when we are creating this term document matrix. So the first consideration is a large collection of the data will be there with us as a text to be processed. Okay. In that, the large collection of documents, give me a minute. Okay. The large collection of documents which are being mapped to a large bag of words normally. So this may lead to a matrix called as a sparse matrix. So if they have a very few common words, so then we can reduce the dimensionality of such kind of the data, which can be helping us to improvise the speed of analysis as I mentioned, and meaningful results we can compute it, and even the computation process can also be increased. So, but there are texts when we try to read or make a choice, it could be a synonym also, means some kind of a synonyms are the terms which are very much in the similar meaning, and it should be combined, so we cannot treat them as a separate, okay, and it should be counted together as a common term. So we can apply the combined process, and we can combine it, and we can say that it can be treated as a one phrase or one common term. So this would help us to reduce the number of distinct terms of the words or the tokens in the document. Okay, so the second consideration, what we are supposed to do it while preparing this particular document matrix is the data should be cleaned. You cannot have some junk values, you cannot have some missing data, you cannot have misspelled, or the spellings might be incorrect. So we need to see that the data is very much cleaned. Okay, so that the data should be clean for the spelling errors. The data should be very much having the, if common spelling errors could be there, means we can ignore that, and the term should be very much possibly combined and kept. And all uppercase, lowercase terms should also be combined and kept together. So this is one more consideration as a second consideration at the time of creating the term document matrix. The third consideration is, so when we are trying to use the same terms, okay, so there are many circumstances or many variants of the same terms which are to be used. So just the stem of the word which could be used to reduce the number of terms. So for instance, like example, I could say the terms like customer order, ordering, order data. So when you listen these words, customer order, please underline that word order. Then ordering, ing you leave order. So order data, order. So it should be combined, correct? So we cannot have the splitted information like customer data, customer order, customer ordering, order data. So it should be combined into a single token, and I can just call it as one word order, nothing else. Right? So these are the few considerations, and still a lot of other considerations are there when we talk about the other hand of the text information, because when we say synonyms, we addressed now homonyms are there, means the terms with the same spelling but the different meaning. Okay, so which should be counted very much separately. We cannot apply the last three considerations what we have discussed so far. So this could enhance the quality of the analysis. Okay, so for example, the term order, as I mentioned. So when I say individually order means order, but that order, what is in which context you are using? Whether you are using the word order in a supermarket, whether you are using the phrase or the word order in the context of the commanding fashion, or what is this? What does that mean? Okay, so the term order can mean a customer order, or it can mean like a ranking of certain choices, or this should be very much treated separately. We cannot treat everything as together. See, the boss can order us to do some work, isn't it? So that is in one context. Or a supermarket fellow can say that customer placed an order, or customer ordered it analysis. So chronologically we have to segregate it. So we cannot treat them always as the same. So homonyms has to be treated and counted separately. So this is one more consideration, and this can be very much required for the manual review process of the term document metrics. And the last consideration measure could be like each cell of the matrix could be one of the several possibilities, and it could be very simple count of the numbers of occurrences of each term or each text or each word in the document. And it could also be the log of that particular number, or it could be a fraction number computed by dividing the frequency of the count by the total number of the words available in the whole document, something like that. Okay, so finally I could say that the analysis has to be done on a cleaned data, so cleansed information. Okay, so well defined, well formed data, it should be well properly populated data, it should be, and it should be in a rectangular fashion, like how the table is being viewed by you on the screen. Okay, so then we are trying to put the information for the purpose of text analysis. So the TDM can mine using all the available data mining techniques. Now this table when I form, so it can be used by any data mining technique for the further processing. Okay, so any doubt in this particular TDM, the term document considerations, or what other considerations are supposed to be considered, okay, while creating the TDM? Anyone? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No. Then the next concept come as mining this particular TDM. Mining this particular TDM. So after getting the TDM, the next immediate task is how do we do the mining? So that is the third step here. See, mine the TDM for patterns, the third phase in the architecture. So what I have discussed. Okay. So when I say mining the TDM, what do you understand? Mining the TDM. Mining the TDM. Okay, the term document metrics is generated, which can be mined further to extract the patterns, because the answer is there in the diagram itself. Frequently occurring patterns, isn't it? So we are trying to do the mining for the better understanding, and extracting the patterns, or extracting the patterns are based upon the knowledge. And always you might be observed, data mining is nothing but knowledge discovery, correct? Knowledge discovery. You might be heard this word very frequently. So there are varieties of techniques, varieties of algorithms which could be applied to this particular term document metrics to extract the new knowledge, to extract the new knowledge. Okay, so here the simple application can be utilized or used for visualizing the highest frequency items or the highest frequency terms to be derived, and this can be done by very much attractively, colorfully in the form of a word cloud. Okay, sorry, the word cloud. This word cloud can be created after removing the common words like prepositions. It can be done by the top n words, such as the top 100 words or top 1000 words, to focus on the key terms which can be used in the whole document. So this attached word cloud represents the speech. For example, there is a speech given by the Modi Modi ji, Prime Minister of India. So then I can take that on what topic the speech was being given by our Prime Minister. So for example, it could be on COVID-19. Okay, so COVID-19 is the topic. So based upon the topic, what Modi ji has given the speech, so that can be considered. So like this, you can do a lot of predictive analysis. The predictors of the desired terms could also be discovered through the predictive techniques. So we can use the predictive techniques. And one of the predictive techniques is regression, okay, which we have already learned it, okay. So regression analysis, we call it as regression analysis. And suppose the word is a profit, okay, which is very much desirable word in a document. So then the number of occurrences of that word profit, we are going to count it and we are going to place it, and it could be regressed against the many other terms in the complete TDM, that is complete term document metrics. So the relative strengths of these coefficients of various predictive variables could also be considered, and it can be used to show the relative impact on creating the profit discussions. So like this, we can get a lot of word cloud could be created for the top 1000, top 100, top 10 based upon the speech of Modi ji. Or here in the textbook, they have taken an example of Obama giving a speech on terrorism. Okay, so there he has been explained the cloud of the words, how it has been created. Something like this. See here, what, people, safe, part, climate, military, home, countries, terrorist, okay, Americans, groups, powerful, terrorist forces, something like that. So this is one of the simple scenario or an example of a word cloud of top 100 words from the US President's speech is being picked up, but we can do it our own things also. So predicting the chances, predicting the chances of the document being liked by the another form of the analysis. So for example, important speeches by the CEOs, important speeches by the principals, important speeches by the vice chancellors can also be considered as another example, wherein to investors could be evaluated for the equality, because when the CEO, CTO speech is listened by the investors, so then they can really make an analysis and they can make a judgment that whether they wanted to invest the money in that particular company or not, correct. So similarly, the term whether the what they can do is they can start predicting, so a decision tree can also be derived, which could be constructed by making this simple tree with a few decision points to predict that whether the success of that particular speech expect us to invest the 80% of the time, wherein that data, what we get the words in that speech will help us to make a decision whether to invest or not. Then this is one way of mining the data in terms of the predictive analysis through the decision tree technique. So then as I mentioned, once the TDM is ready, so we can apply any data mining technique. Okay, so then the clustering technique can also help us to categorize the documents and in a common file. So there are a lot of examples, we can give it as clustering. Okay, then even association rule mining analysis could also be used to show the relationships of coexistence of the information. So thus one could say the words tasty, sweet, which occurs together often. Okay, so where the two words have the percentage of the happiness, because we can treat that when I say tasty, yummy, sweet, okay, so then I can see that what is the frequency of happiness of that particular customer can be analyzed. So this is about the mining, the term